Welcome everybody to another podcast. I'm here with my boy Ghost. Say hi.
Yo, what's up?
My name is Zensei, and we're here to talk about the efficiency of NRS, how they tackle certain problems, the foundation of their games, and what goes wrong with different philosophies, how they can adapt, how they can take references from other companies, and you know try to add a 2 cents on how they can create a better environment for everyone, and we can see if the future is brighter in general, just for the MK community. So the first thing we want to talk about is how they go forth in creating an environment, right? And what I mean by that is, how do they set their foundation? So what I have here is a chart, and in this chart, it draws a comparison from other fighting game developers and NRS, and it clearly shows how they create a foundation, but with every foundation that they create, they scrap it, right? So, in other words, I want you to imagine building a house, and you set the foundation, you set the pillars, the groundwork is already there. However, every time you try to make alterations to the house or improve it in some kind of way, the construction manager comes and tells you to scrap everything and start over. However, with other fighting games, they just build upon the legacy they have throughout the years, resulting in an efficiency in how they solve problems, adding more depth to the games, and basically just creating an environment where people can give constructive criticism a lot easier. So, Ghost, you have any ideas on how NRS can go about doing that?
I think they just need to pick at least one of their games and that they previously created and build on it. Well, especially MK9 RX. I prefer you build on X because I feel like X, it has the most depth and stuff. But MK9 is good as well. Go back to the game where you find that it had a better reception or the best reception from the community as a whole and just build on that. That's how they should start, you know. Instead of trying to build a whole new foundation, like you have previous foundations that you can go back to that you refuse to um, evolve, so they can start with that.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not sure whose philosophy is it. I'm not sure if it's Ed Boon or someone on the game design team, but surely by now they have to realize that their actions throughout the past is catching up with them, right?
Yeah,
It's very hard with the amount of production that goes into gaming nowadays and the budget, right? It's a lot harder to create something new every time you sell the same product. Now, I'm not saying that you rehash the same thing over and over. Obviously, there are alterations that should be made, right? But
yeah,
what we're talking about is building a legacy and an identity. So if there happens to be an issue, you can make an alteration a lot quicker.
yeah,
When it comes to starting something new, at first you're not so good at it, and over time you get better, and that's what's plaguing the NRS scene right now. Every time they start a new formula, they tip into territory that they're not used to. When with MK1 being a tag game, I'm afraid that the community does not have the right experience to give NRS according feedback to help with making this game better. And then on top of the fact that the game does not have the system mechanics to deal with certain things, like the onslaught of the ambush assist, and just different methods that may arise, for example, like the Cyrax method that we had not too long ago. So, what do you think, Ghost, in terms of the community? How direct should they be with NRS? How would you go about speaking with NRS if you had to bring about change?
Well, I will go about respectfully, of course, because we all here from Mortal Kombat. We all want to see the game do good and like evolve, just like Street Fighter and Tekken. And by the way, Tekken is absolute gas. That game is absolute gas. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. And the only position it lose a point is like where the online netcode is not that great. But other than that, perfect, right? So basically, I will go about it well, respectfully and in a like it's tough to say because I feel like anytime you try to insult someone work, even if you mean well, they're gonna take it badly. So like it's up to NRS to be like open to
Constructive
criticism,
criticism, yeah.
constructive criticism, and at least listen to. It's hard to like the people you listen to also matters. Because if you're listening to the wrong people, you're gonna make a bad game. So I feel like it comes down to a 50-50 to where the community need to speak up, especially those who have the power to like speak up, and ours also need to like listen and be willing to take in feedback. But it's up to NRS to choose where they take their feedback from, right? Because I don't know where you're getting your feedback from or if you're listening, but MK11 and MK1 are not good games.
Yeah.
And like for the most part, at least widely accepted. I know a lot of people who don't even play fighting games like that, but of course they know Mortal Kombat. Everybody know Mortal Kombat. So I have friends that literally tell me they don't even play fighting games and they prefer to see MKX.
Yeah, I
So it's crazy to me like how people that are not even in the scene like us prefer to see MKX because even as a viewer and not a player, it's just more enjoyable to watch. So in order for NRS to move forward, they need to listen in the right place to where like yes, people always complain, but there was just that feeling that was there, like this was it. So yeah, I know I mumble on there, but you know me, I get a bit passionate about this shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
I want to talk about the quality of the feedback because it feels like, you know, not to name names, but there's a couple big names in the community that we feel could make a change. We call them game changers or community leaders.
yeah,
There's a couple of them that can make those changes, and it's just a bit strange how we could
they
see
don't.
yeah, they don't when certain problems are a bit obvious, right? So I'm not sure if NRS
Yeah,
listens to them or maybe
that's
they
the problem. We
just
don't 100% know like do they listen or like they just don't say
yeah.
anything to NRS and they just kiss ass. Cause like Sonic Fox. I'm not scared to call names. I'm not saying he's the only one or he's the worst, but as you know, with every new MK or NRS game, oh my god, this is so great. I love this game. And a few months into the game, he's on to something else, playing what it is, Skull Girls or some shit like that. You know,
Now Tekken.
like why is the game so great in the beginning, and then 6 months later, the game is not so great? Like you knew that from the beginning, but you just wanted to save face and be nice. So what you feel about that?
Um, when it comes to the level of criticism and feedback, I always feel like
Yeah,
you can give constructive criticism without disrespecting anybody.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
as somebody who's, delving into the art industry, content creation, or anything of that avenue, um,
Yeah,
I know you put a lot of passion into whatever it is, whether it's perceived by the general populace to be good or bad. It still takes a lot of work to produce, right?
yeah,
So I know sometimes it can be a bit tough to listen to someone say, "Oh, do this over," or maybe tweak this here, or maybe it's not that good there. But ultimately, it's for the betterment of the community, right? Because
Yeah.
had those things been said earlier, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in now. Um, as for Sonic Fox and a couple of other industry leads,
Yeah, there are more for sure. I
they're
just
they're
called Sonic Fox
they're
because I had mentioned a tweet. I had like write a tweet under his tweet on Twitter, on X, whatever, and the tweet had blow up based on what I told him.
yeah, yeah,
So like that's why I mentioned him because he's just one of them, but there are many more,
yeah.
many more.
There's many more. We can,
Eh,
the list goes on, but you see, it's to NRS's detriment when they are surrounded by yes men.
yeah,
I
like
think,
like for example, like not crossing you, but what I usually say is like watch what people do, not what they say.
yeah,
I think I once heard Sonic Fox said that he never really liked MKX. I think so. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think I heard him say that before. Like he don't really like MKX, even though he was so good at it, whatever. But why you don't like MKX? Out of all the MKs, let's say it might not be the best game fundamentally, but it's certainly the most fun.
it's the most fun at least out of
It's
the
definitely
lot.
the most fun. So what about MKS? If it is true, you didn't like, right? So you're trying to say you prefer MK11, but you guys play MKX longer than MK11 even after MKX die. And what about it? What about it that okay, you might not prefer X and you prefer 11, but you run to other games like DBZ and Skullgirls that even crazier than 11. So it's like you saying this, but you doing this. You saying you don't like this game because it's too broken, but you playing another broken game. What is it? You see, like you're trying to save face. You don't really want to speak the truth, or you feel like, well, you speak the truth, you're against the world, but fuck it. Sometimes you gotta be against the world to get things done, right? So things that's how I see it. They say one thing, but they do another. They say that the game is good and fun, but they don't play the game.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah, and
You gotta watch what they do, not what they say.
yeah, and you see the right feedback matters when, because as an artist, sometimes you can't see the imperfections in your work, right?
Yeah, and
Uh,
sometimes you see it, but you just still too stubborn to change it.
yes, maybe there's a bit of an ego there, but
Mm.
sometimes you need to step back and let somebody judge your work for you.
Yeah,
And but you
but
can't.
be careful who you let judge your
Yeah,
work, of
be
course.
careful of who you let judge your work for
You
sure.
don't want yes men. You certainly don't want yes men.
You don't want yes man, or
It's not good for
you don't
business.
you don't want people that are too negative. Also, you need to find
Yeah,
that
of
middle
course,
ground.
balance,
Yeah.
balance for sure. And that's
So
the problem we always say with NRS, right? Is that they always go hard left or hard right on anything. There's no balance, not at all. They either left or right. Where's the balance? You
yeah.
know.
So
So
when you create a legacy NRS, it's a lot easier for your community to give you the necessary feedback needed because you build this core audience, right? And
yeah,
a lot of the older players who have the experience can help guide the younger players coming into the industry, into the scene that you're creating. And then we can all, for the most part, because it's the FGC, right? We fight amongst each other. That's natural. But for the most part, people know what to expect, so people are on the same
yeah,
page. You know?
yeah. Like when they go to Tekken or you go to Tekken, you know what you're getting into. When you
Yeah.
go to Street Fighter, you know what you're getting into. When you come to MK, the whole community just split. The community is split into MK9, Injustice 1, Injustice 2, MKX, MK11, MK1. Each game has its own community. Like people either like that game and don't like the other one. Like that's your scene. Your whole scene is just split.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're doing that on purpose or what, but it's not a it's not a good feeling like that. Cause then you get people that like MKX but don't like MK11, or like MK11 but don't like MK1. And it's crazy to me how people say like when MK11 was out, oh my god, it's the worst game. And now MK1 is out, people going back to MK11. You see how funny that is?
Yeah, people are
So
definitely wishy-washy nowadays.
it's very wishy-washy. It just come with a, but you gotta,
But
it's tough to say.
I, I,
Cause NRS,
I,
hmm?
I want to talk about in terms of the ego, right? Because while artists can have a certain level of ego when they fall in love with their work and perhaps they have this game plan in their mind and they believe this is the way for the game, and they don't
Hmm.
necessarily want to hear other people's opinions, or perhaps they feel
Hmm.
like their opinions are valid but theirs is, the only way.
Yeah,
There is a way you can balance that, because for example, with Tekken, there's a lot of people that probably don't like Tekken, right? For whatever reason.
yeah,
But Tekken knows what it is. So Tekken is not going to sacrifice what it is for just to get an extra few dollars. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Tekken
And that's
has
the
its
thing with,
audience.
I see like, I know this probably gonna rub some people the wrong way, but I must say I don't give a fuck. That's the thing with the West and the East. That's why I stopped watching Western movies and I only watch animes from Japan. Like I don't really watch anything else Western because it all just feels so like it's about the money. The passion is not there no more, just about the money. But when they go to animes and like just consume more Japanese like media or whatever, it just feels like yo, these people got passion in what they do.
Yeah,
Like look at most. I'm not saying everything is bad over here. But like I said, I just feel like it's all about the money. People don't really care to put the passion there no more into what they do.
it's
They
all
just
just
have
corporate
asset and
moves.
put it on the market,
Yeah, it's
you know?
corporate moves. It's just corporate moves.
Because if you look at it this way, Tekken is not a live service game, but it's gonna be here for like the next 10 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah,
It's not a live service game. Of course, probably things gonna come to the game at one point where you can buy. But just picture that. They're more worried about the evolution of their game and how it evolved into Tekken 9 than just putting something out there every 2 years and grabbing the cash and going back and like they're more care about how their game evolve and ours don't evolve.
yeah.
They
It,
don't evolve. They get like they capture lightning in a bottle once and then they try again and they keep failing. MK9 and MKX was like lightning in a bottle. You got it right. It wasn't perfect, but you had a direction. MKX was certainly similar, like different from MK9, but you had a direction, and then you just
it's
dash
def
it all away for like it's crazy.
it's definitely quality over quantity. That's the direction you
Definitely.
should go.
Look at Call of Duty every year. Definitely quality and quantity over quality.
Quality
So
over quantity.
at least with the Japanese side of things, the Eastern side of things is different. That's why like I'm enjoying Tekken and other stuff over there because it's always the feeling is still there for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to work on a game when you already have the core foundation. From there, you already know the inner mechanizations. You can
Yeah.
just tweak something here, tweak something here. You already understand the formula, but every time you hit a new subgenre, it's a new lesson that has to be learned. And the lessons that you learn, well, guess what? You have to scrap it because it's a next formula. So,
It's a next formula. And you never really develop because like you only learn 25% of something and then move on to the next.
right,
And like
there's no
you see,
reinforcement.
I'm not just blaming NRS for that. We all like that in life. We all have learned something and move on to the next. But at the same time, I mean like, is it right just because you do it? Or everybody do it? Tekken and Street Fighter is the way. They show the way how to evolve. That's why they still have the like their community over there don't even argue among each other like that. Maybe over characters, but not over like the game like that. But over here, every new game, a new fraction of people arguing.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like over here.
So everybody, pretty much just like the company, we don't have a direction to follow.
We don't we don't have a direction over here.
And
It's like it's been 10 years and I'm still playing MKX. I love that game. You love that game. Most people love that
most
game.
people do,
But
yeah.
I mean like at the same time as much as I enjoy the game, I'm tired of it because I played for so long, and right now I'm craving for MKX 2.0. Evolve beyond MKX. Show me something even crazier. Don't go backwards. Like we made the another, like, imagine someone come to you and say, "Yo, bro, I'm trying to get high for the first time," and you give them cocaine. The hardest thing you can, not the hardest thing, but one of the hardest, and you give them cocaine, and then they come back to you like after the 10th time and looking for the same fits, and you give them marijuana. Like, that's MK11 and MK1. It's marijuana. MKX and MK9 is like cocaine. You can't downgrade. At that point, I'm looking for you to give me something that's even stronger, the same level or stronger, because that's how you started us, right?
Yep.
MK was always about the broken shit. It was always about the broken shit. We got used to it. We complain, but we got used to it. When you come to MK, at least that was one consistent thing about MK. It's broken.
Yeah.
It's a party game. It's broken. It's fun, but it's broken. It's not competitive, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But you guys started becoming esports and getting this weird idea, like, stick to your identity. If that's the one bit of consistency you guys have, just stick to it. Like, you
You
know,
you are you are not anything else but Mortal Kombat, which means you have the stopping power no other company has. Everyone
it's the
knows
biggest. Say what
generation
you want. It's the biggest fighting game on the market.
yeah,
It is.
generations upon generations know what Mortal Kombat is. You should not have to sacrifice who you are to gain more following. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the crazy thing. Like, they shift from their identity that made them, and then looking to pick up new people. Yo, the people that fuck with you because you're you are the best people to have. You shouldn't need to change to go and get a new, you know, community or anything like that. Like, just stay to who you are.
Now, it's not
Like, my
it's
great my grandmother knew what Mortal Kombat was.
yeah. Yeah.
Everyone knows Mortal Kombat. Everyone alive today knows Mortal Kombat. You don't need to change and become this weird DC kind of game, like Marvel multiverses, all kind of bullshit game. Just be Mortal Kombat.
With all of the problems stacking up on NRS, you also have the online situation, and then you have the delay of Peacemaker, as long
Yeah, yeah,
as
that
well
too.
as the upcoming balance changes and the seasonal content that should be here. And
Yeah,
it's quite hard to work on these things when you also have to work on the gameplay and work on the balancing and adjust the cameos. Then there's bugs that still transpire, like for example the Raiden that could move at round start, or before round start I should say. And
yeah,
had your game been a legacy game, or had your game just had the foundation already set in stone, you could then focus all manpower on those aspects of the game. Or perhaps if you
yeah,
even had more time, because if you think about it, if WB, a lot of people blame WB for a lot of things, and while I agree with them, a lot of it is still NRS's fault, because WB is not telling NRS to scrap the formula every time. WB
yeah,
is not the ones telling NRS, do this specific thing with the gameplay, do that. WB basically tells NRS, you have this time frame, do that. Get it out by that time. We're going to handle the marketing, the publishing, everything. Get it out by this time. In that time frame, say you have about 4 to 5 years, your mentality should not be to scrap everything and start over. You're adding more workload to yourselves and the team. I don't even want to know what the crunch time hours are like over at NRS. Now
really
imagine,
bad. From what I heard, really bad.
imagine this. You have a game like Tekken, and some may see it as a lazy approach, but it's an efficient and effective approach, and everyone's happy. You get a Tekken game every 10 years,
Yeah,
and Tekken's philosophy is, well, we already have the formula, let's just add more to the characters, add a couple new mechanics, tweak some frame data, improve the online, and we're good to go. improve the graphics, we're good to go.
Yeah.
But you want to make a game in less time and scrap everything, including your pillars, your foundation, the land you built on, and everything else. It's an inefficient way of creating a game, especially with the amount of work and effort that goes into game creation nowadays. Even Mortal Kombat specifically, the amount of work that goes into creating fatalities and character specific dialogues, and then you have your story mode and everything. It's just not a feasible idea. It's not a feasible ideology to restart the foundation of your game every time. So one of the last things I have to say is, again, one, NRS needs to filter out the yes men. They need to get rid of the people who are not real with them and start listening to people like Tom, for example.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Tom.
Yeah,
Shout out to Tom Brady.
like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is one of the only people that actually has a voice and is not just farting out nonsense like the rest of them.
Yeah. I can feel real passion coming from Tom Brady. Give him his respect. He been here like the longest when it
He,
comes to the community, right?
yeah. Tom, the thing
So
is with
like,
Tom, he has his
so
ways.
anything spam, yeah. Or go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, Tom has his ways, but you need to give the man his badges and his merits. He was probably one of the
Yeah,
first, he is the first generation of Mortal Kombat players. If it's anybody that knows about the game, it's Tom.
yeah,
But Tom is also the only person speaking actual truth.
yeah.
You need to be
It's
listening to
it's
people like
crazy,
Tom.
right?
It's 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 bewildering to me how someone like Tom is not in your game design team. I'm not saying that the people who you've recruited as of late don't deserve it. I'm just saying someone like Tom should be on your game design team,
Hmm,
right?
I
So
agree.
that's one of the last points I wanted to make. NRS needs to filter
Yeah,
out
and my
the yes men.
well, we're gonna bounce soon too. But my last points are number one, 2 points, major points. Someone or some company, something just need to buy NRS from WB. Please buy them out from WB. Our WB is gonna suck them dry like how they suck multiverses and all the DC movies and everything they touch. So please, someone get NRS from WB. And number two, to follow that up, after you get them from WB, go into the company, shuffle and flush some people out. I'm not saying take their jobs away, but bring in new inspiration. Because I feel like the developers at NRS running out of ideas, or they're just bored and burn out, or something, or they just don't give a fuck no more. But their previous three games, Injustice 3, MK11, and MK1, Injustice is the better one out of the bunch. And that game is not good either, but it's the better of the three, in my
Craving
opinion.
Injustice
I would
2.
play Injustice any day over MK1 or 11.
Yeah.
As zone heavy as it is, like I still find it more interesting to watch and to play. And I hardly ever play the game. So NRS needs some new developers and new youngsters or whoever, like just come in and give them some new
Some fresh
ideas, or just go
ideas.
into other communities and just look at what people do.
Take
There's nothing wrong
reference.
with taking.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking, but be creative in Mortal Kombat way, you know.
Express
But
yourself
it's
through how
it's
Mortal
crazy
Kombat
to
would.
me how you guys water down your games to become more esports like Street Fighter and Tekken, and somehow Tekken and Street Fighter buff their games to be broken and pretty much took your formula and you take theirs. Now they're surviving. Like now they're growing and evolving
Yeah.
because you're supposed to go up, not come go down. For all the people at the bottom that are complaining about, oh, this is too hard, this is too broken, who gives a fuck? When you want to go to school, college, university to become a doctor, and the courses are too hard, you think they're going to make it easier for you just because you find it too hard? Tekken is a game that been there from God know how long. Like if you want to get into Tekken, you pretty much need to become you need to be obsessed with Tekken
You
in
when
order to get good at
if
Tekken.
you wanna
You know?
if you want to get into Tekken, you need to start from the ground up. Tekken is not gonna start from the ground up for you.
Exactly. That's no you you explained it right, like perfectly. That's pretty much what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
NRS always rebuilding because they're trying to pick up new.
Yeah.
And then the new that's come, I don't enjoy it because it's too boring. Because the new also play other games that they find better or at least more fun, right?
Yep.
So you keep rebuilding for people that are not even gonna stick around. And then even if they do, now you lost your old community because these new games just ain't it.
Yeah.
you know?
So
Like I said, not don't watch what people say, watch what they do. A lot of people that say, "Oh, MK1 is the best," MK11, they hardly play the game, they hardly stream the game.
you know, uh, they say don't judge a man by what he says. Judge a man by what he does. So a lot of your industry leaders and a lot of the people that you fly out to your offices, ask yourself, are they playing your games currently?
Nope.
Are they promoting your games currently? And ask yourself why. They're all playing your competitors' games. Tekken.
Exactly, and Street Fighter. Like
See?
that's the crazy thing. I don't see any Street Fighter player coming to the MK community to play. I don't see any Tekken player coming to the MK community to play their game. But I always see MK players going to Street Fighter, Tekken, and other communities. Why it is that only our community we need to leave?
Yeah.
Everyone else is happy with theirs, but ours we're not.
You're supposed to be part of the big three. Earn your
Exactly.
earn your right to remain part of the top three. The last thing I have to say is there's a patch coming. Yes, it was delayed, but Peacemaker is coming with an update. Hopefully, this shakes things up. I don't think the game is savable right now, but it's definitely
Mm,
salvageable. At least the
yeah.
remaining people on this game can play it and be happy until the next game comes. And when the next game comes, it's a different formula. So, because I would hate, with all this legacy talk, I would hate for NRS to choose this game as to be the legacy game.
Imagine that.
I
Like
would.
I had that fear with MK11,
Yeah.
and honestly, this game is basically MK11 with cameos.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, it's just MK11 with cameos. The characters still are pretty bland, to
And
be
a
honest.
breaker.
Most of them, like no real depth. The
Yeah.
cameos just come and add what fate, pressure, and combos and shit. Like it's just MK11 with cameos.
Alright, so,
So basically, they chose MK11, the worst game, to then somewhat build a legacy off of.
yep.
You're crazy. You're crazy. You're literally starting from ground zero. MK11 is ground zero of a game. Start
NRS.
from something that was already there and it had passion in it. MK9, MKX. Start from there. Don't start from MK11. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing I had to say.
NRS. Again, go over your previous games and do like Street Fighter 6 did, but do it properly. What Street Fighter 6 did is it took all the best parts of their previous games and put it into one game. You need to go reevaluate all the MKs you've made up until now, even the 3D era. Take the best parts of those games and create something that everyone can relate to and enjoy. That is how we are making the How to Make Mortal Kombat 2 video that it's coming soon. We're taking the
Yeah,
best
look out for
parts,
that for sure.
we're taking the best parts of every NRS game leading up to now, and we're creating something new and relatable. Off that now, we can build a legacy. Thank you everyone for watching. It's your boy
Yo, thank you,
Zensei,
thank you. And Ghost.
and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, peace.